I'd like to call the Bluff City Board of Mayor and Alderman regular meeting of Tuesday, June the 6th, 2017 to order. Sharon, please.
Alderman Stratton.
Here.
Vice Mayor Harrington.
Here.
Alderman Harrison. Alderman Bowling.
Here.
And the next thing on the order is prayer by Vice Mayor Deacon Ray Harrington, Vice Mayor, at First Christian Church of Bluff City, immediately following the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Let us pray. Lord, we come to you now to ask that you be with us now for this meeting for the town of Bluff City. We ask that all the decisions that we make in this meeting be for the best for the citizens of this town. Thank you for the day that you've provided for us. We thank you for everything you do for us. In your Son's holy name we pray. Amen.
Yeah.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next thing on the agenda is discussion/action update from Dave Wilson, engineer. Oh, okay. We'll just move down to the SBK Pet Works Regional Animal Service Commissioner Joe Hannon.
Thank you, Mayor and BMA. I appreciate the opportunity we have to be here today, and we wanted just to talk to you a few moments about the new animal shelter we're going to be building. And first, this is Mr. Russ Atkins. He's an attorney at law in Kingsport. He's on our board of directors, and he had some things he wanted to say, and then I'll cap it off. And one thing I do want to say before we start, though, is you guys probably know the tax assessor for the county, Mr. Ron Hillman, passed away, age 64. And so when you guys pray, if you'll remember his family, he was a super, super nice guy, and the county is going to really miss him. Thank you.
Thank you.
As Joe mentioned, I'm Russ Atkins. Our board president, Tom Parham, asked me to come by and just give you an update. We came here in March and gave a full explanation of what we're up to, but a lot has happened since March, so I'm not going to rehash anything that's already been covered, but I just wanted to update you on where we are. With your help, we have purchased the property. We have 3 lots, about 3 acres, which is located across the street from the former location of the bowling alley on East Stone Drive, just inside the Kingsport city limits. This is a drawing of what we're going to build. This is the building and the parking area with an area back here to walk the animals. And it's going to be called the SBK. This says Animal Center. We're actually going to be calling it the Regional Adoption Center. We think that's more in keeping with what our purpose is. Turn this around so your citizens can. The preliminary engineering work has been done. The geotechnical work has been done. The environmental work has been done. The property has been surveyed, and we've had the closing. The site has been cleaned up. The brush has been taken out. We've had 200 loads of dirt brought in, and the property's leveled, and a sign has been installed. This is our sign. If you're driving down Stone Drive, you can see this. It gives information about our new website, www.petworkstn.com. So if anyone wants to know what's going on, how they can donate, that's all on our sign. I brought this one just because it shows some of the people in front of the sign. That's our board president, Tom Parham. In the middle is our shelter manager, Donna Davidson. She's the one who's actually dealing with the animals. And on the right is Ralph Soot, who is our project manager and has done a ton of work. And, of course, the Great Dane is Ralph's dog, Lulu. These folks are doing a dynamite job of keeping this project on task. So we're ready to go. That sign, by the way, was purchased using the funds that Bluff City has donated for the property. That allows us to really publicize this project. We have a fundraising committee that's in the works. We're going for some heavy hitters on this committee. We have an information booklet in the works that we'll be giving to our proposed donors. We have a marketing donation brochure, which we're developing and hope to have all that ready within the next week or two. We have done a presentation to the Jim and Laura Rogers Foundation. Jim Rogers, as many of you know, is the recently retired CEO of Eastman Chemical Company. He and his wife Laura have remained in the area, and they have a community foundation. They have been very receptive, and we are hoping to have a decision from them very soon. There will be a presentation next week to the Bill Gatton Foundation. I don't think I need to tell anyone about his record of charitable giving. And as a graduate of the University of Kentucky, I probably know more than most. We've also done a presentation to the Pedigree Foundation, the makers of Pedigree dog food. We have hired the owner's representative, which is Ralph, who you saw in the picture, Ralph Sood, who has a considerable amount of experience in developing property for commercial use. And he's helping us to define our exact needs. He'll be doing that job through the end of June. We have people that are lining up to help. Business owners, community members. Tri-Cities Grading did all of this work free. They brought in over 200 loads of dirt. When we closed on the property, Heritage Title provided its services, closing services and title services at no charge. Aldebaran Financial has come forward and agreed to do all of our bookkeeping for our fundraising committee for this project at no charge. And the architects, Goins, Rash, and Kane, have provided all the pre-engineering work at no charge. We have a very optimistic timeline that if everything goes according to plan and the money is in place, we could break ground as early as September of 2017, which would put us in line to open the doors to the public. Again, this is optimistic, as early as October of 2018. So that's where we are. We've been busy, and we're going to continue to be busy. We appreciate your partnership with us. We think this project is really in the best interest of the citizens of Bluff City and all the citizens of Sullivan County and its other municipalities. And we're excited about what we have going on, and Joe will talk to you about some of the details. One thing I've learned since getting involved in this organization is it's impossible for anyone to say no to Joe Heron, so I'm going to let him talk about the money.
He set me up, didn't he? Yeah. But it is a pleasure. Always enjoy coming to Bluff City. It's a nice town. And I appreciate all of you guys that's serving on the BMA and the things that you do for the community. What I want to touch on is the monetary issues of building the animal shelter. And the total cost is going to be about $3.5 million. The property is 3.5 acres, and we've already accumulated all the money for that. We were able to pay cash for that. We already have the deed to all 3 lots, and so as Russ said, we've already got it graded, and so we're into the fundraising thing now. Pat Hardy, and you guys may know him, he's with MTAS, and MTAS and CTAS got together and did a study on the municipalities here. The owners of SBK, of course, we know that SBK and is Sullivan County and Bluff City and Kingsport. Also, to let you know, the latest is that Bristol is going to be coming on board as a full member. We have a 9-member board of directors, and John, good to see him, and John has been active with us on that also. And so Bristol's coming on board as a full member. We're going to add a position on the board of directors for Bristol. And MTAS, CTAS had it listed for a breakdown for Sullivan County, Bluff City, Bristol, and for Kingsport to pay a certain portion so we could raise the $3.5 million. And so what we wanted to do was to do $2 million from the municipalities and then to go to the community and raise $1.5 million, which we're well on our way with Mr. Rogers, the retired exec from Eastman, and others that's working on this program. And when they, MTAS, CTAS got through with the study, they were showing as far as the building that Bluff City's portion would be 3%, and 3% was $60,000. And Tom Parham, the current president and I was the first president, and so Tom and I got our heads together and we said we don't want to do that to Bluff City. Bluff City has got 1,800 and something residents, I believe, and we did not want to saddle them with $60,000. So Tom and I sat down and we refigured it, and we pushed the $40,000 of that towards the other owners, and we got with them, and they were okay to absorb that so that Bluff City wouldn't have to do that. So what we got, we're showing Bluff City with 1% of that money, and 1% is $20,000. And what also, and then we had a meeting with your mayor the other day, and we told her that what we, if you guys wanted to, if you guys will support this, that instead of paying $20,000 out of one budget, if you guys want to budget $10,000 this year, and then next year budget the other $10,000, that would give you your buy-in of the $20,000 towards building of the property. And then, as I said, the other municipalities will make up the difference. So that's our proposal to you guys, and we're honored that Bluff City is on board. We hope that the figures that I have given you and the presentation of Russ here will let you guys know that we are moving forward, and the building will be built. We're wanting to reduce euthanasia. We're wanting to increase adoptions, whereas we used to have a dog pound. Now we have an adoption center. Sounds better, and we're wanting to have our furry little friends to have what we call forever homes, so that they can go out and live for the rest of their life. God created those, but He also created us to take care of them. And working together, we can do that. I remember a time, and I've been a commissioner for 15 years here in Sullivan County. I remember a time when all municipalities went their own way and they tried to do everything separate. This is a joint venture where all of us are together, working together. And I think that's the future of Sullivan County, is all of our municipalities sitting down around a table, working together, striving for one goal. And so I want to thank you guys for listening to us, and hopefully you guys can buy into this with $10,000 this year and $10,000 next year. And thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Make a motion?
Yeah.
Do we have it? I'll make a motion to approve the 20,000, 10 now in this budget and 10 in the next.
Do we do that now or through the budget?
We do it through the budget.
Do it through the budget.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take a vote, please.
We'll vote on it through the
Well,
budget.
we'll
Oh, you're
vote
going
on
to do it
through
through the
the
budget. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. They're going to. So, thank you.
We appreciate you.
Okay. Bye-bye. Okay. Where's that?
He's over here.
Mr. Wilson, are you ready?
For having you here this evening. I know, following up on our meeting last week, we had a couple of items of business that you'd asked me to look at for this evening, and I have some handouts that I'd like to give you. They're hot off the press. You all are aware, at the last meeting, Mr. Moultrie had brought to our attention that we had a line that was causing a lot of trouble on McClellan Street, and you all had seen fit to have that line TV'd. So we did have a gentleman come and TV that line, and I wanted to talk to you about the results of that. If I can get this free and clear. Now, let me grab the wrong one. have a couple more to look at them. What we found on McClellan Street when we did TV, if you see in between the two black arrows that I have on McClellan Street, I've got some red marks, and you can see some circles and some squiggly lines. First of all, just for your reference, you can see the railroad that goes right through the middle of the sewer line. And just south of the railroad, we found a large section of pipe there. It's made up of different materials. It's concrete, it's clay. There is some PVC, so it's been patched together over the years just the best it could be. But it has sagged and broken in that location. And there is a ditch that runs along the south side of the railroad and dumps immediately onto McClellan Street and therefore onto the sewer line. And where I have the circle and all the arrows going out, that section of line beginning about 5 foot north of that manhole, proceeding for an undetermined distance because we were unable to get in it, it's crushed. And there are a lot of roots growing in it. And we believe, and Mr. Ramirez that did the TV work with us, and of course Mark at the city was helping us, we believe that that's a source of inflow, which, as you all know, is our problem. And the water running right down the railroad ditch is probably running right into our sewer and filling it up, and then it's running over and on down the roadway. And so certainly that's something that we need to fix as soon as possible, and we've got a couple of different alternatives. One alternative would be that you fix it in-house, trying to use your own funding, or considering the use of your own funding, and I have a couple of scenarios for that. Both of these scenarios would apply if we did try to change order this work into the upcoming RD work also. The first one that I have is essentially a price to fix the pipe itself, and this is based upon there had been a point repair just south of this back in 2008. Dwayne Miller's group had done that, so I based it on that. But to do this entire 450 feet, similar to the way we did that, and patch it back, I have a cost estimate of $25,500. Again, that's, if we want to look at it that way, I think we could, you could consider self-funding that, or we could consider approaching RD and adding it to that project. We also discussed, I know there are some aesthetic issues there, and the way the street runs out, and it is in terrible shape. It is torn up there, you saw, and we're aware of that. And if we were to try to make it a more comprehensive project and repave the street, rebuild the base aggregate, and also try to fix the drainage to prevent that from happening again, got a cost estimate of $93,000 to do that.
Of course, you'll go out for bid, so it's a possibility that you can get a cheaper price.
Yes. These are my estimates. I could be notoriously high.
And the thing
Does the
about it,
$93,000 include that $25,000?
The $25,000 was simply to do like we did before, to replace the pipe and to patch the trench as we go, and it's the bare minimum what we would do, probably keeping it 4 feet wide if we can, or maybe even just the width of a bucket, 3 feet if it's possible to do that. The $93,000 was to actually go in, and when we do it, repair the street, put down new aggregate, put down new base and new surface, and taking measures to add some drainage pipe to where it stops washing and it fixes the problem with the gentleman down at the very bottom.
You have to add the two together, get the total.
Yeah.
No,
You're saying the 93 total?
that also
Okay.
includes.
Okay, that's what I
25
thought.
included in that.
Yes.
Okay, that's.
Yes, I'm sorry for
okay.
the confusion of that.
Okay.
Yes.
In this, the first price when you're considering using in-house men.
No, ma'am, that was going out. Now, if we used in-house men, obviously you would see a savings, even if you accounted for it and just bought.
Oh, I don't think we can do that in-house.
Yeah.
There's
I
too much
agree.
involved in that for the city men.
Yes, ma'am. It is. It does get a little deep, and there will be a need to use a trench box, and there's some danger to that. There's also it will be a maintenance activity, but encroachment under the railroad and the culvert, there's a height issue that you'll probably have to have a mini type of excavator and a specialized someone that's capable of and has run that equipment without damaging the railroad culvert.
The railroad got anything to do with it being crushed?
No, sir, not that I'm aware of. They do have, the water does run off there, and I'm sure that culvert's been there long before the sewer was there, so we came through, yeah. There's no real good way to measure the actual amount of inflow going in there. I just do know that it will remove inflow from the 390 pump station that's currently going. The inflow that's currently flowing to it, it will take that off of it if we do replace this.
So the 25 would be someone else
Yes,
actually doing the work, and
Bare minimum.
Yes.
and it'd be, how wide did you say it would be?
I would like them to keep it about a 4-foot wide trench if they could, and then they would need to go back and replace the asphalt, and there would be a trench patch of approximately that amount. There would be a connection back of at least one lateral, and therefore, there would be a repair in a yard, and I included that restoration cost in that amount.
But that wouldn't be doing the paving.
No, ma'am. Well, just on the trench itself.
Just on the
Actually, the roadway, after you pass under the railroad culvert about another 100 feet, the pavement is broken up, and I guess y'all have seen that. And there's a frame and cover there that is watertight, Alan, isn't it? So I don't feel like the water's getting into that manhole proper, but it is washing down, and it's continuing to erode out onto the gentleman's driveway. What I would propose to do if you did consider going back would be to super elevate's a bad term to use because that's usually with a speed, but cocking the pavement up so it all drains to one side and having a good ditch along the western side of the roadway, a nice tile under the man's driveway where the chain link fence is, so that it would all drain there and then stay off, and then that would flow on down to the river. So it would be something we'd think out and try to keep that from happening again, try to keep the roadway from eroding again if y'all elected to go that way. And if we did put it into the RD project, I would suggest that we at least have those items in there so that it's considered and we'd have the option to do that. There will be restoration items in the RD work. So it would be something you could choose to do.
So it doesn't sound like it's, no matter which way you go, it's not going to be a fast process.
No.
And it sounds like it's not going to be until the next budget.
That's correct. And it would be, and my recommendation at this time would be if you, I would prefer to try to include it in the RD project. I think we could get a better long-term solution and fix, but it will take greater time, and we will incur the inflow until that's completed. However, if we're not having any severe complaints at this time, I think we should try to do that, in my opinion.
Do y'all have any questions? No questions at this time. Okay.
I did feel like Mr. Ramirez was here for the better part of the day, and we spent a lot of time cleaning that line. I do feel like we will derive significant benefit if we did some more TV work, and at a fairly reasonable price of $1,500 per day for him. Perhaps if we could plan a little bit ahead and actually do a little bit of cleaning before he gets here, and then know where we want to go. But would like to come back with you. He's not here this week, but he would be available for the following weeks. And I know you all do have budget processing coming up, so if we could consider some type of nominal amount and to use him to look around. And Alan, I'm sure you have several places you'd like to look, and it's a good benefit. So we bang for the buck, so to speak. We can see underground where we normally can't.
Are we going to use any flow meters?
Yes, and we actually, as JR contacted you, I know we've got the bands are all in, and we will be placing those in. I think that, again, with the flow meters, I don't think we'll have any total flows, but we will have comparative flows. In other words, at location A, we're getting more flow than at B, and we can tell by moving it around where it's coming in, if that makes sense. If we hop and skip, we know between this one and this one we're going. That does lead me, thank you for mentioning that, because when we did do the investigations the other day, we saw quite a bit of clear water in the manhole, and I do believe we have a water leak going on somewhere above the manhole on McClellan Drive, and it's going into our sewer, and that's a terrible one. If you all recall, we had a water leak a few years back on Railroad Street, and we couldn't find it, and it was going underground. And I don't think this is to that extent, but it did appear to be significant. So I would suggest that we begin going upstream, and we've spoken about that, to try to isolate where that may be. It could be anywhere to Summit or to the schools. You know, it's quite a big area there that drains to McClellan.
What's that going to do when you open that pipe up after you fix it to the pump stations? I mean, is it going to overload them?
No, actually, we hope that it takes more out. Now, obviously, it can put more in, but I think there's probably a good 10 or 15 foot section right at that ditch where the flow will be going in. So I hope that it decreases the flow. But yeah, that's always a danger. If it can get in, it can get out. Yeah.
I mean, is it still, if we're going to have that more in, won't it mess us up down here? Getting more in there?
If we got more in, that's correct. And I know Alan and I have discussed that, and it's that's something we need to keep on discussing to see if we will be keeping more in the system or losing more from the system. Right now, I believe that we'll get more out based upon what I've seen at that location. Now, because it would have had to have been, if it were getting out, we would physically see that somewhere, and I'm not aware that we have seen anything of that magnitude leaving at this time.
I don't think there's maybe a cave or something down below.
There could be.
I know there's one up on Long that goes down through there.
Anything like that could be possible. The next issue that we had talked about was an issue to possibly take more flow off of the igloo, and we had discussed possibly retiring the garage pump station or relocating its force main, and actually put together a couple of alternatives for that. And I had totally forgotten. It had been about back in 2005, we had actually discussed that with our Hillcrest Sewer project. At that time, we talked about totally getting rid of the garage pump station and using gravity sewer to go under the railroad. And we took bids at that time. However, these bids were well in excess of $150,000 to do that. So at that time, we did not do it. Now, I'd like to show you these plans. That was to go back to gravity sewer and not force main, and to totally kill the pump station. So y'all will see information here later.
somewhere else that you see it? On the garage pump station, the force main itself. Yeah, that's the other two things.
That's okay.
But those are,
Again, we were a little over $150,000 on that option, and that was to go back, and you can see it's a very deep line. The gravity sewer has to be deep. Now, the other options that we had looked at, and I'd like to show you here, and I've got them both on this same exhibit in red. Called Alternative 1 and Alternative 2. This is what we discussed last week, to basically shortcut. And after y'all get a chance to look at this, I hope it's self-explanatory. Not too confusing. I did the evaluation. And this one, basically what you can see in blue, I've got the garage, which we call Pump Station 3. And there's an existing, we believe to be 6-inch force main that goes up on the hill to the garage, and then from there down a 6-inch gravity line to the igloo, just straight up north on the page, if that makes sense. That's what's going on now. What we would like to do is one of the red alternatives, Alternative 1 being to go immediately from the pump station across the railroad and down 44 until we get to River Bluff Landing and go into the gravity sewer there. Or Alternative 2 would be to continue on up to the garage, and the old discharge line that used to go from the wastewater plant to the lake, we would go down that a short distance and then jump over and tie into the Lakeview line. And I believe that would be the most cost effective when we survey that, if that is possible. And these estimates for Alternative 1, which because we would have to bore under the railroad now, and it would require a new permit. I have an estimate of $112,000 to do that. That's very expensive to have to bore and then that permit, and that's time consuming. And again, this work I intend to be part, as we discussed, this would actually be, we would want to change order this into the RD work, not part of our own, because it is the intent of the project. Now, Alternative 2, Timber alert. Yes. Alternative 2 is the force main itself, and this cost estimate, I essentially use numbers similar to what Iron Mountain gave us on the first project for the force main, and I have a cost estimate of $39,500. And that was essentially prorated based upon numbers they gave. And again, these are estimates. We would have actual competitive bids and contractors going against each other, and hopefully better numbers.
And we're looking at over $1 million there.
On
all of this.
Well, at McClellan Street, if you elected to do just a patch, it would be 25, and on the
if we did it all, see.
Yeah, it would be no, sir. I think if you did the entire roadway on McClellan Street, it would be 93, 12 for the half, and then this would. I think we should do Alternative 2, which is 39, so it'd be about right around $150,000.
That was 93.
93.
Yeah.
Okay,
Plus
so
the 93.
93 and 39.5, so it would be roughly $135,000, $140,000. And again, those are engineering estimates, and they can be darned. You know, we should have competitive bids from contractors. Again, with your all's consideration, I would rather go ahead with our RD project and then add these elements in as change type elements, and that gives us the time and then the flexibility of adding in on that work, hopefully with a reputable contractor that's already there, a better price, and then that funding structure, with the long-term loan type structure instead of immediately out of hand, out of pocket.
Have y'all worked any more on the peak flow, all that, the peak flow between 390 and the Igloo Station?
Yes, we have been working on that, and I actually have another VFD call from Mike Bailey we will be getting, but I believe with that and one of these alternatives, I believe it will be management.
Because we could extend the duration at 390?
Yes.
And it would alleviate from...
Correct. That's exactly right.
What size line is going from the 390 to the Igloo?
6.
Yes, it's a 6 up. It's not very long though. It just goes to just past the ball fields.
Yep.
It doesn't flow maybe 300 or 400 feet.
So it goes from a 6 to a 4? Or?
No, actually when it comes from the 390, it goes to a 10-inch line, a 10-inch gravity line.
Good.
And the gravity line flows to the Igloo, and then from the Igloo is a 6-inch to Lakeview, and from Lakeview to the Lakeview pump station is a 12-inch line.
Good. Yeah, because going from the 6 to the 10, that alleviates some of the pressure off of it in itself.
Yeah, it's actually once it ties into the gravity line, there's no pressure on it. That's correct. And unless it's surcharging, which we don't have any reason to believe that that's happening, except just above the Igloo.
Does anybody else have any questions?
You said it might take longer to get this project going if we do go through the RD project, right?
Yes.
Take longer to get it started?
These particular items, yes. I mean, these would be...
Like a year?
No, I think it'd be considerably less than that. These would be... We would probably be 2 or 3 months into our project when these would come up. Okay. And we would propose that they be added. And it's...
That's not bad.
I think it would be a similar amount of time if you all wanted to try to self-fund. We're not very far. I know before on McClellan Street we used a very basic document, Mr. Fry. If you recall, it was maybe 5 pages. We had traffic control, bypass pumping. Those were the 2 main caveats, and then just basic lump items. And it was very simple. It wasn't a big spec book or anything like that, and it was basically a diagram also. So it's pretty simple as far as the engineering
goes. So are y'all wanting to just want to think about it and then make a decision later?
Well, I'd just say go ahead and add it to the R&D.
Yeah, we can do that, and I would suggest at this time we do it, and then once we receive those bids, then we can come back together like in a workshop and go over each item of work, and that would give y'all an ability to pick and choose.
Right, more stable numbers.
Yeah, and what your priorities might be. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Well, thank you. Did you you didn't bring a letter for that? No, I'm not talking about on the stormwater. I'm talking about on that house that's out there on the cliff. That's building that new house. Oh, okay. Well, we've got everything ready to go except she keeps wanting to know what we're going to do. So he was going to write something about the pump or whatever. Mm-hmm.
Yes, we would come in this manhole right here, and this manhole, we would shoot an elevation there, and we would shoot what her basement's going to be. And we could tell her if she can get into this line or not, and if not, whether or not she needs a pump. Not that she won't.
Okay.
We can verify that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. And just in case you were wondering what I was asking Mr. Wilson about, we got someone that's building a house on McClellan, and they want to build a basement. Into their house, and the line would be lower, right? Lower than the main
property where she's building her home near the lake is actually lower than where the actual line is. And what she's asking us to do is to lower the main line 2 feet, which we can't do for one customer. And plus, on top of that, what she's wanting us to do, she's wanting to use the existing tap that's there, in which we can, like, basically what she's going to have to do is pay for another tap if that's the case, but she's wanting to use the old tap as her tap, but it can't be done. The only thing I believe she would be able to do is run a pump in order to pump it up to that line. Like the way it's set and where her basement is going to be, the line's going to be higher than where the basement is. And also, just to make another note on that property, like as in the stormwater situation that we're running into in that area, if we don't fix it, we're going to end up running into issues with her with how much stormwater flows into that. So we are going to have to consider some kind of fix to getting that stormwater controlled, because it's all over the place in that area of McCollum, which I will show you.
Is it that first property there on the right, Leonard's?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, we're down to citizens' comments. The first session, 3 minutes. Give your name, address, and phone number, and come to the podium.
A lot of talkative people.
Yeah, we got some real talkative people tonight. Okay, we're down to discussion and action. Regular meeting minutes of May the 2nd.
Make a motion to approve regular meeting minutes of May the 2nd.
I'll second.
Take a vote, please.
Alderman Stratton.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harrington.
Yes.
Alderman Harrison.
Yes.
Alderman Bowling.
Yes.
Okay. And the next section is discussion and
Special
action
call meeting.
on the special call meeting of May the 31st, 2017.
I'll make a motion to approve special called meeting minutes of May 31st.
I'll second.
Take a vote, please.
Alderman Stratton.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harrington.
Yes.
Alderman Harrison.
Yes.
Alderman Bowling.
Yes.
Okay. Discussion and action on a public hearing on ordinance number 2017-004, an ordinance to adopt the continuing budget. Mr. Fry.
Be it therefore ordained by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of the Town of Bluff City, Tennessee, that amounts set out in the 2016-2017 appropriation ordinance are hereby continued until a new 2017-2018 appropriation ordinance is adopted. That the property tax rate of $1.28 per each $100 of taxable property for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2017 shall remain in effect until a new property tax rate is adopted, that this ordinance shall take effect from and after its final passage, and that its provisions shall be enforced from and after July 1, 2017.
Okay. Does anyone have any comments? Okay. If not, we'll have a second reading on ordinance number 2017-004. Mr. Fry.
Do we need to approve the motion?
Motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the current tax rate to continue.
I'll second.
Take a vote, please.
Alderman Stratton.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harrington.
Yes.
Alderman Harrison.
Yes.
Alderman Bowling.
Yes.
Okay, second reading on ordinance number 2017-004. Do we have a motion?
You have your public hearing.
We just voted on that.
We did.
Oh, I thought you voted on to continue the public
Yeah,
hearing.
we just voted on that.
Okay. Okay, discussion and action on the public hearing on ordinance number 2017-005. Mr. Fry.
An ordinance amending ordinance 2008-005 and 015 dealing with providing for the maintenance, preservation, and protection of public records and establishing procedures for accessing and copying public records. Be it therefore ordained by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of the Town of Bluff City, Tennessee, that ordinances 2008-05 and 2008-015 be repealed in their entirety, that the attached exhibit shall be known as a public records policy for the Town of Bluff City, Tennessee, that this ordinance shall become effective from and after its final passage of public welfare requirement.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Hearing, does anybody have a comment?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to rush. Sorry. Does anybody have a comment on this ordinance? If not, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Take a vote, please.
Alderman Stratton.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harrington.
Yes.
Alderman Harrison.
Yes.
Alderman Bowling.
Yes.
Okay. Next thing on the agenda is report from the mayor. This is the first regular meeting of the Bluff City Board of Mayor and Aldermen since the election. Therefore, I would like to take this opportunity to give thanks to everyone, regardless of whether you voted for me or not. I believe that if we work together and put Bluff City first, all things will be possible. The Bluff City Beautification Club is in the organizing stage, and all are welcome to join in to help our city come together and make us all proud to be a part of cleaning up the city and making it beautiful. The first meeting will be held Thursday, June the 22nd at 7 p.m. at City Hall. It's been busy at City Hall. This is time to put together a budget for our city with many things to consider. The overflows are important. The smoke test, which revealed over 100 defects. We will be working hard to remove the stormwater from the sewer system and to take care of other problems facing the city. We hope everyone will realize how important it is to take care of these defects as soon as possible. When you receive your letter, if you have questions, please do not hesitate to contact Alan at 538-7144. Messages will be taken for Alan, and he will get back with you as soon as possible. Meeting was held with Johnson City MTPO organization board members, First Tennessee Human Resource, TDAC, and others to continue working together to assure transportation for seniors, to have transportation to the doctor's office, hospital, work, and other areas. It's looking good for a successful plan. The Home Consortium board members meet quarterly to continue helping Bluff City citizens and others be able to rehab or buy a home if they meet the qualifications. At this time, the board is obtaining quotes for a Bluff City resident. If you know anyone that needs help, please get in touch with me for a form. Alan and I had to go through a review with OSHA. It's completed. Acorn Electric has given us a price on fixing the traffic light out at 19. They've been patching it in the past, but every time the wind blows, it breaks, and then they patch it again. And they have given us a price of $2,200 to actually take care of it. I'm working with someone from TDAC, trying to put the responsibility on them to fix it because of the fact that the cable is too small. So I have no promises, but they have guaranteed me that they would look into it and see if they can do anything to help us with that. Report from the city attorney, J. Paul Fry.
I don't have a report this evening, Mayor.
Okay. We didn't get any more tax money?
Not yet. On the 2015 and 2016, the letters will go out around 1st of July.
Okay.
And about everybody else is paid that we filed suit on. We'll have to sell a few properties, but
Okay, thank you.
many.
Okay, discussion and action of financial report. Sharon Green, Finance Officer and City Recorder.
Fund balances as of April 30th, 2017. General fund, $880,607. Sanitation fund, $9,327. Special police fund, $9,220. Debt service fund, $146,480. Sinking fund, $3,095. FHA reserve fund, $691. The water sewer fund, $658,760. We have a total fund balance of $1,708,173.
And if you noticed, each month these balances have been going up. So I just like to thank Sharon for being
Just conservative spending.
right. Okay. Do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Take a vote, please.
Alderman Stratton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harrington,
Yes.
Alderman Harrison,
Yes.
Alderman Bowling.
Yes.
Okay. Comments from the board members. Alderman Jack Stratton.
Distracted by the train.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Comments for tonight.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out and appreciate y'all standing with us. And I just sitting today thinking about what a good city it is. I've lived here 47 years on Carter Street, and I'm proud to be a Bluff City.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Vice Mayor Ray Harrington.
Appreciate everyone for coming out. And thank you for the re-election. Continue to get things done, and that's what we'll get done. And thank you for coming tonight.
Alderman Richard Bowling. I'm sorry.
Oh, Judge, you missed John.
Excuse me. Alderman
coming out.
John Harrison.
I know looks like we've got a mess, but we're trying to get through it. We're doing what we can. I appreciate everybody being patient.
Alderman Richard Bowling.
I appreciate everybody coming out too, and on the election, re-electing the three of us, so we could really get down and continue these projects. So, thank you, everybody.
Okay, report from the city officials and county commissioners. Chief of Police Greg Depew.
Good evening, Mayor and Board.
Good evening.
And to those, congratulations on your election. Look forward to more years working with you. For this month, we had a total of 228 calls for service. We issued 145 citations, had 38 warnings. We patrolled 5,302 miles, had 17 arrests, had 18 offense reports, had 8 alarms, had 3 accidents. That's down, and that's good. had 5 animal calls, had 3 MSD reports, had 3 funeral escorts, had 8 domestic violence calls, and had 3 drug arrests. It was a busy month. But the cars, I hope everyone's seen. They're in service, very pleased, very happy. The guys are very excited about them. Seem to be very good vehicles. But that's about what I have. You have any questions or any concerns?
You got any report on our break-in?
We have some leads, and we are following up on some stuff, yes. Yeah, sure do.
Thank you.
And the curfew is working out.
It is, and that seemed to help a whole lot.
Because
Been
it's
strictly
9:30.
9:30, and it's been strictly enforced. And due to the things we were having, and we have stepped up the cruisers on the city streets.
That's what I was going to say, your miles.
And we've really tried to step that up. But the curfew seems to be working, and we're working hard to prevent things from happening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Public Works Supervisor Alan Moultrie.
Just to give you all a brief look at what's going on McClellan Street, I ended up recording a video to kind of give you a glimpse of what's going on there. And I thought me and Dave would have been on disagreements on some of the things, but he pretty much stated exactly what I'm looking at. And this is how the flow is flowing through McClellan during these rain events. And that area right there, that's where we possibly think that our sewer line may be busted at. And this is pretty much to me a clear-cut location where we're receiving all of our I-9 from. And I think this is a situation that we're going to need to fix as soon as possible. And also on the note that that lady wants to build a house right in that area. This is the flow that comes down through that area, and that's not going to be right for her to build that home. But this is what we're looking at pretty much every rain event that we have.
Definitely not with a basement.
Where's that water coming from, Alan?
It's all the water that's pretty much collected all throughout town, and it washes to that point down in McClellan, and supposedly it's supposed to go to the lake, but we obviously got some of that pouring into the sewer system. And this is almost every big rain event that we have. And that's not the worst. That's not the worst. I mean, it's been worse than that. I won't reiterate exactly everything that Dave stated, but regarding the sewer line that possibly being crushed, I do agree that that is our situation. One thing that I partially disagree on is the movement of the garage pump station line. Like, that's not going to eliminate any of our I&I. Like, we do get some flow coming from that pump station, but it's not what we're getting from the 390 pump station. The 390 pump station is what overwhelms the Isley pump station. It's just that the garage pump station adds more to it. It cuts on and off periodically every 5 to 8 minutes or so.
Double down on it.
Yeah, I really don't feel by moving that line or replacing it, it's going to help anything. Because, like right now, our current issue is that we're sending too much stormwater to Bristol. By moving that line from the Lakeview, the garage pump station, that's still going to be sending the same amount of flow and really no results. So you'll basically be spending money on something that you're going to get very minimal results from.
Looks like our main problem's right there.
Yeah, like based off of when they cameraed the line, they did see roots in the line, and they did see a section that possibly could be crushed. I wasn't here to witness it, but we are going to have some video once that get forwarded back to us. I will be able to show you all that video also, but there is a clear-cut issue, and I believe that's where we're getting the bulk of our inflow in this town. And it's like that almost every rain event.
And that comes all the way down Railroad Street, all the way back
That comes down almost all the water in town collects. It goes along the railroad yard comes down to McClellan and washes down to that point. In theory, it all should be going into the lake, but as you can see, I don't know exactly where it's going. I know some of it's going to the lake, but I'm pretty sure, like with the amount of water we're seeing and how it happens, like it's almost after the rain event, that's when we start seeing the high well level and all that rising. It's like once the rain stops, that's when we get a huge surge with everything finally making it down to the garage. I mean, the bridge pump station. And from this point right here on McClellan, it gets sent straight to the 390 pump station. So that's most likely where we're getting the most part of our stormwater from. Like I'm pretty sure we got other little smaller issues throughout town, but I'm pretty sure this is probably the major issue we have.
It looks like it is.
Yeah, it's an issue. That's what I have for you all tonight. If you all have any questions, I'll answer them.
How close to the interface is the lady who built that house?
I'd say it's about 50 feet. It's like right adjacent to where this truck is. It's just going to be almost right by the lake. The lake almost. She's building it right off the lake.
It's on the lake side.
Yeah.
And like what me and Dave had talked about previously, he said like before we get to this section right here, possibly even putting a storm drain right in there, let it flow, and basically it just flow directly to the lake, or we can broker a deal with that homeowner to run it straight off of the lake. I mean, the railroad side straight into the lake. So
We can forget that. She's already said there's no way.
What our options are, but that's something like to get that water off of her, we're going to have to look into finding a solution to that.
Good luck. She's sitting on the way.
Any other questions?
She'd have to if she wants another basement.
So you be talking about bribery.
No.
Any other questions or anything?
Do you have anything else on your report?
Other than that, we're still continuing going throughout town, picking up brush, mowing, trying to keep the town pretty. We do have a few other places throughout town that we need to go back and patch or pave. That will be coming. Hopefully we can get some of that done within this budget and pretty much move from here on out with the new fiscal year coming up. Other than that, that's pretty much all I have at this current juncture. Do have a game tonight.
Good, thank you. So you have time to get to the games. Okay, thank you. Water Department, Dean Fields.
Good evening, Mayor, Ward Alderman. Water treatment plant, during the month of May, we treated an average of 226,000 gallons per day. Our water tank level averaged at 48.2 feet for the month. At the beginning of May, I hit a little bit on this last meeting. We cleaned and serviced our spring box. And if you guys don't know what the spring box is, you know, if you've never been up there, it's amazing the water that we've got in this spring box. To give you an idea how much flow our spring has, we rented 2 500-gallon per minute pumps to pump that spring down. And we had 2 6-inch drain valves open. We couldn't pull it down. We couldn't stop it. So we're looking, at my guess, that spring box is about 2,000 gallons a minute. And we're pulling roughly 170 out of it.
How big is that spring box?
It's about 10 foot by 15 foot. And you know, the river that goes by the water plant, if you've ever been up there, that's overflow from our spring box. Now, granted, when we was up there, that's high flow, but, you know, 2,000 gallon a minute, that's a lot of water. So we are very blessed to have what we have in that spring box. In our distribution system, we have fixed several small leaks in the month. We continue working on our leak detection, and we also have started our flushing program. And we'll be starting our sampling plan this month. And again, I want to thank everyone for reporting any water leaks, and please continue to do so. Dave hit on, he saw some clear water when they done the camera. And he's talking about Summit. We do have an 811 call in on Summit that we may know where that is. And we hope to dig that tomorrow or Thursday. So we may have found some of the water. I'm not promising anything, but we do have an idea. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? I'll be happy to try to answer them.
I think it was under ground creek or whatever it's called.
It could be, like Underwood Springs going up to the plant. That's all that road is a spring, and just like Dave said, I can't guarantee anything, but we're going to dig down to our water line on Summit and make sure it's not ours. Yeah, but I'm sure there's caves like you were talking about, caves all over Bluff City. Do you have any more questions?
I have a question.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And the next person on the agenda is Commissioner Andy Hare, Sullivan County Commissioner.
Al, what time's your game? Oh, I was going I'm just kidding. Good luck. Congratulations to everybody on your wins and getting the opportunity to serve. And I appreciate the direction y'all are taking your town. And I look forward to seeing what happens. It's a lot of good things are happening. You got your hands full, but you're dealing with it. And that's part of it. You just, you're taking care of business. So I appreciate that. You don't hear that enough. I wanted you to hear me say it. I don't have much to report other than we everything got canceled this week due to the passing of County Property Assessor Ron Hillman, who died suddenly. And out of respect for him, they've canceled all our meetings this week, and we'll lay him to rest this weekend. But that's why I was able to make it tonight. But the big thing on the table now is the budget. And I know last month I sent a letter with the list of those on the budget committee. I strongly encourage a phone call or an email to those gentlemen that are on that from you all. That I think that'll help in getting them to submit your request for the park, the increase there, which really hope happens. And we'll know this month, I believe, what will happen. But that's really the big topic right now is the budget, and that's where we're at. So I wish I had more to report that was entertaining, but that's about it. So if y'all have any questions, you don't ever hesitate to call me.
Hey, Commissioner, I want to thank
Yes.
you, too, for coming down and meeting with myself and the mayor and the principals to try to get a step ahead on what we're going to be facing.
Thank you.
School start. So thanks for
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up, and it is something we could report on. It's, it depends on how you look at things, glass half full or half empty. I received the letter you all wrote about the future Bluff City Middle School. The die is cast. It's going to close eventually, 2, possibly 3 years from now. There will be a new school about 4 miles from here. But in the meantime, what we do know are 200 more students going to be at Bluff City Elementary this year. The traffic flow is going to increase. We work together on trying to come up with some ideas and some plans to combat that. But this could be a great positive for the town with the amount of traffic that's going to be coming this way. Additionally, whenever they do build the new middle school, whenever that day may come, 2-3 years down the road, the traffic through Bluff City will increase exponentially. And this could be a great opportunity for this town. Because when you're up that way, what services are available? Nothing. This could be the shining light for people to come here and go through our town. So I see, this is the hand we're dealt. This is what we're going to we got to deal with, and I think we can turn it into a great positive. but that's down the road. But I just wanted to throw that out there. But again, thanks, Chief, for bringing that up, and thank you all, Madam Mayor, for.
I would also like to thank Mr. Hellman because he's helped Bluff City so much.
Yeah.
And he's been a wonderful friend, and just anything you ask him, he's willing to help you. So we really appreciate him.
Yeah, he is.
Thank you.
And again, congratulations.
Thanks.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Does anyone have any old business? Okay, under new business, we've got problems with the swinging bridge. Sullivan County is working on it, but of course, Chief of Police DePew and the other officers have had to patrol down there quite a bit because they've had the tape put up and people keep taking it down. They had a sign down there. They took the sign. They stole the sign. And we just continue to have problems down there. So under new business, I would like your support. I might not need to ask you about a traffic light. A traffic light. Oh, God. A street light. But I would like your support to have a street light installed down there at the trailhead because of all the problems that we're having down there.
It's be clear too. It hides too much, you know what I'm saying? Brush and stuff. There's too much going on there.
Yes, it is.
Way too much.
So on the last street light that I had installed, it ran $11, and then the one up at the rescue squad was less. So I can't tell you how much more a month that it'll be. It's in.
What the rescue squad is?
Yes. Yeah, they had so many people being up there. No, it's on the left side. It's on the left side. And actually, people were tripping and stuff, so it was for safety. And so they seem to be quite happy that it's there. So do you want to vote?
I say go ahead and make it. Okay.
Okay, then. I appreciate it. And then I'd like to read this letter to you from the TVA. This letter is to inform you that the current easement for operation of Bluff City Park is set to expire on August the 23rd, 2019. Please be aware that if you would like to renew the easement, TVA needs approximately 12 to 18 months to process the application in order to ensure that there is no time gap in the agreement. The initial application fee is $5,000, but you would be responsible for all administrative costs that TVA incurs in processing the application. Now, I have been talking to Mr. McNutt for over a year about this project. We encourage you to read about the new guidelines regarding commercial recreation management. And then TVA may be able to offer a fixed cost for processing of a new lease of easement. However, additional information is needed in order to calculate a fixed cost. So anyway, like I said, I've been working with him. I think that we can, I think that I can get him to go with a fixed cost. But I did want to let you know that I know that it will be at least $5,000. So.
Leases for how many years? 30 years?
They did not say in this how many years it'll be leased for. So I'll have that information for you at the next meeting. And then we're going to have to do a program for the Americans with Disabilities Act plan. So Todd Woods has offered to do the plan for us for a reasonable price, and I'll have to have that for you at the next meeting. He did the one for the town of Jonesboro, so he thinks, just changing it to Bluff City and and correcting a few things that it'll probably be around $300. So I will give that information to you for the budget if y'all approve it. Okay. Citizens' comments, second session. Don't you have anything you'd like to say? Oh, yes.
I have a question. Rebecca Harrington, 344 Tennessee Avenue, Bluff City, Tennessee. I wondered if the fix at McClellan Street, if you go with a bid to fix the pipe, is it possible to have the paving redone by our men in Bluff City?
I don't think our men can do that good a
They
job
can't.
on the pavement.
I just wondered if that
No,
sometime money
listen, we're
saved.
glad that you come up and ask questions.
Yeah. I just wondered if it might have been a money saving.
Okay.
That is a good question, but the problem with us doing it is we don't have the equipment, we don't have the rollers, we don't have the, we don't have that stuff. It's not that we don't want to do it, it's just, it's not cost effective for us to buy all that equipment just to pave it. But that is a good question.
Yes.
That's it.
And please come back and ask more questions.
I get a lot of them.
You get a lot of them. Mr. Johnson, do you have anything you'd like to say?
I appreciate everything you all do. I do.
Oh, thank you very much for everything. And we look forward to your progress, your project. Okay. Okay, thank you. Who wants to make a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn. John is.
Don't fight. Don't fight. Oh, I did forget one thing, and this won't hurt me to tell you this, but we have this CMOM plan that we were supposed to have done for the state by the end of March, and much to my surprise, the engineer did not get it done totally. So I would like to let you know that we're going to need to have a workshop.
We'll do one Monday.
Monday?
Can't do that quick?
Okay, well, I'll have Monday or Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So is everybody else good with Monday or Tuesday?
Tuesday would be the best, I think.
Tuesday would be the best? Okay, then. I will check everything and then get back with you.
That way he's got to sit back and get on the ball.
That's true. Thank you, everybody.